Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is currently November 9th, 9:44 p.m., 2024, and we're having another weekend rally. We could just jump straight into it. I'm going to be going over crypto first and then equities. It's likely going to be a bit of a lengthy video, 30 minutes to an hour, possibly. We'll see how quickly I can get through it and talk about the things I want to talk about. So starting off with Bitcoin here, again, as in my last video and also post on my X account, as long as we're holding above this current spider line here that I'm hovering over, the area of interest that's going to act as a magnet is these two spider lines up here, which come in around 79 and 81,000. Okay, so I do believe currently still that we are going to hit short term here, short term here, around 80,000 for Bitcoin. Okay. And that hasn't changed since I've been saying that since mid October. Okay. And a little bit before that. Now, going on to this Bitcoin chart I have, which is the 105-day cycle chart. As we can see here, we have a weekly engulfing candle. Okay, currently. Unless we get, some sort of big dump tomorrow, which, I mean, could happen. Anything's possible. It is the markets. But probably not likely. And that what's likely is that we do close probably right around where Bitcoin's at now, plus or minus $1,000 or $2,000, something like that, for the weekly close tomorrow at 8 p.m. ETC. So, as I've been saying since September, I want to say, when I made this 105-day cycle chart, maybe even a little bit before that, that I do believe we're going to be rallying into the end of November and possibly have a little slowdown in the month of December into mid-January. Now, when I say slowdown, I'm not talking some sort of major correction. I'm just talking about maybe a short-term top at either 79,000, 80,000, or $89,000 for Bitcoin. One of these two levels or areas. And Bitcoin could definitely rally into beginning of November or December as well, uh, or even January too. Anything's possible. But I do believe we're going to rally into the end of November. A key date is November 25th. Okay. And we have some sort of sideways consolidation for a time being in December into January. Now, the apex of this 105-day cycle here between November 25th and March 10th, 2025, the dates are January 13th and January 20th. I do believe if we are correcting into this area here, that it could be a low, a major low, and then we rally into March of 2025 from January. Now, what if we are rallying into this apex? Well, depending on price action, uh, we would just have to see. Maybe it could be a short-term high or a continuation from there. But the base case is the same as I've been saying for weeks now, a rally into end of November, consolidation into January or sometime in January, right? Maybe some pump action a little bit, part of early December. And then from January, we rally into March, where we could potentially get the top or a strong local top in March for Bitcoin, just like how there was a strong local top in March of this year. Okay, those are the scenarios that I'm thinking about for Bitcoin currently. Okay, pulled up market cipher. Money flow is very thick on the weekly. It is 33. And money flow is probably the strongest indicator to pay attention to in market cipher as well. So money flow being at 33 is extremely good. Uh, there's a lot more to come in this rally, most likely. So just pay attention to the charts. Don't listen to any narratives. Okay. And that is the weekly Bitcoin chart in the 105 day. We can look at the monthly really quick. Yeah, monthly is also getting a green dot for this month of November. And if Bitcoin does close November with a green dot on market cipher, it's likely going to start curving the stochastic RSI, and VWAP will probably get higher and positively higher. Also, money flow is pointed up as well. It is at 30. That there's nothing bearish about that as well. Okay, zero bearishness about that. And I have been looking at the charts. I look at the charts every day. It's hard for me to really find anything that's relatively bearish where we're at right now in the market for crypto, uh, even equities too. It's pretty hard. I I don't really get the whole bearish thesis that so many people still seem to have. Getting into my final chart for Bitcoin, it's the Gann chart I have, and as we can see here, we're breaking above the last horizontal line here. That comes in at 77,000. Now, the next spot to look for is the top of the square at 84,000 just about for Bitcoin. There's even the top of the circle here, which could come in around 79,500. Okay, close to 80K. So pretty interesting. These levels have been very well respected. Okay, each of these arcs. All right. Uh, Now there's a key date again, November 25th on the Gann chart for this vertical line here. So again, I do think that November 25th or plus or minus a few days is going to be a very key date, especially if we're rallying into it. Okay, that could mark a short-term high and get some sort of consolidation after. December 7th is also another key date. Okay, that could also mark some sort of high, maybe a lower high. We will see when that time comes. But so far so good. This Gann square has been, or the Gann box has been very well respected. Okay, since I've put it out. That's Bitcoin. We can look at Bitcoin dominance. And I've had this chart not touched really at all for the past, I want to say 8, 9 months, just about. Besides extending now this upwards channel, Bitcoin dominance has been in. And as we can see here, it is well respected. We found rejection at the top of the channel, also while hitting the golden pocket zone. And Bitcoin dominance could have potentially topped that 60% because this red box here is a reversal zone that I've had. All right, it's a key area. So I'm on top watch alert for Bitcoin dominance. Okay, and if that wasn't the top, maybe it could go to 61, 62%, possibly even 66% is doable too. But if that doesn't play out, then this could have been the top for Bitcoin dominance. All right, but time will tell. And as we see here, each of the rejection points for the top of this channel, the first time was about 6.5%. Second time was about 4.7%, 8%. The third, and for the fourth, 6%. So let's just say 6% down from that high. It gets us to the bottom of the channel once again. And if that wasn't the top, Bitcoin could find support there, or Bitcoin dominance could find support there, and maybe you could try and continue higher. Okay, but nonetheless, even with a move down of 6% Bitcoin dominance, that is going to really help out the altcoins, especially the stronger altcoins as well. Okay, so that's Bitcoin dominance for you. Last time I did look at this, the money flow of the weekly was very high. Yeah, it's still pretty up there at 43%. I mean, usually when I see money flow that thick, it usually means it's going to end up going higher eventually, especially on the weekly time frame. It just takes time to play out. Okay, but there's only really two scenarios here. That was either the top for Bitcoin dominance at 60%, or if it wasn't, it could find support at around 57% and rally on higher towards 62 and 66%. Okay, those are really the two scenarios I have for Bitcoin dominance. And even if Bitcoin dominance didn't top at 60% and it does continue higher, that's not a bad thing for some altcoins. Okay, uh, most altcoins will still go up, even if Bitcoin dominance is still rising, because it really just comes down to BTC. If BTC is moving up, it's going to drag mostly everything with it. It's just the weak altcoins are not going to outperform Bitcoin to the upside on the USD pairs. Okay, but if you hold strong altcoins that are outperforming BTC, even with Bitcoin dominance rising, they will still outperform Bitcoin dominance as long as their BTC pairing is strong, right? So take like Solana, for example, that could do very well. And it has done very well so far this cycle. Dogecoin is doing well as well the past month or so. Okay, so it's really a select bunch, but that's why you should analyze charts to position yourself into good assets, quote unquote assets. We're crypto, right? They say Dogecoin to meme coin. That's I just look at it as a fucking asset on a chart. To me. Okay, so let's move on here. We can go to total 3. I have here total 3 on the weekly, and as we see here, there's a cup and handle formation, and this week it is breaking out. Okay, you can also say this is just a bull flag too. A measured move target is to the all-time highs, or just about the all-time highs at 1.1 trillion. And we also have a trend line of resistance here in yellow that we're currently testing on total 3. And finding short-term rejection, I do believe this breaks though. Okay. I'm curious about the monthly. Yep, I suspected there would be a green dot there. So total 3 is also getting a monthly green dot. Stochastic is starting to bend. Money flow is pointed up, and at 29, VWAP is turning positive, and regular RSI has held above the 50. If RSI breaks above 70 on a monthly basis, right, it closes above 70 on a monthly basis for the RSI, and price is above 775 billion, there won't be any bearish divergence there. So we have a very good setup here for total 3. Total 3 is the market cap excluding the total crypto market cap excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. Okay, this is an amazing look on total 3. Again, it's very hard to be bearish here. Very hard. You just have to have some patience in you. Okay, and now I want to go to Solana. Alrighty. So Solana on the daily, we're finding short-term resistance at 205. I do believe here that we could potentially hit 210 here, the top of the range, which was the March high. But ultimately, what I want to get at is most likely when Solana does break the range, right? This box here is just the size of this range. So if I just move this down here, it's just the size of this range, and you could take that as a measured move. Okay, let me move it back, and I will go to a higher time frame, weekly, and there we go. First of all, price action, we are breaking above with a weekly engulfing candle above the trend line of resistance. Okay, and also the weekly highs of July. It's a very bullish look on Sol. Now, if we do break above 210, the first target is going to be 256, which is pretty much the all-time highs for Solana. And the top of the box is going to come in at around $301, a new all-time high for Sol. And that could be hit within a month or so. I'd be very shocked at how quick a bullish move out of a 7-month consolidation period what it could do. Again, it's hard to be bearish here. You also have money flow of the weekly at 41. Again, as I said before, when I see money flow so thick like that, it usually means that there's a lot more to come, especially if there are no bearish divergences. Okay, that are signs of weakness. There's not any signs of weakness that I see. So therefore, the highly probable scenario is Solana has a lot more room to go. I'm ultimately targeting 415 once all-time high breaks, most likely when all-time high breaks. And my bigger target is $666. Okay, these two are fib targets. That's how I pulled those from the all-time high to the bear market low. Now, if Sol does break above 666 sometime this cycle, those two targets up there are the next one's 919 and 1075. But just being kind of more realistic, I'm looking for 415 and $666. Now, time is much more important than price. If Sol is only at $300 by March April timeframe of next year, I will likely have to bite my tongue and just sell, because going back to that Bitcoin 105-day chart, if I do think that March could be a top for BTC, then that gives altcoins, maybe they top out in March with BTC, or they could have another month or two of upside if there's an alt season, right? So if by March, April, Sol's only at $300 or $400, $600, somewhere in between, TP. Okay. And actually, I want to look at the monthly as well for Solana. Yep. Also getting a green dot on the monthly and having possibly a monthly engulfing candle as well. VWAP is turning positive. Stochastic was completely reset. It's starting to curve from the bottom. Yeah, Solana is going to have a fairly sized fucking move here the coming weeks and months, for sure. Sol's looking great. Now I can go to Jupiter, which is a beta play to Sol, right? It's the best DEX on Solana, and honestly, I believe it's the best DEX in all of crypto. They just have so much good product. So we have here an overall range between really $1.23 and around 66-67 cents for Jupiter. And in my post and also previous videos, I said that Jupiter has to hold above this orange box, and so far, obviously it has. We did get a daily close, one daily close under the box, but we immediately came back above, and it wasn't long-lived, right? It was short-lived. It was a bear trap, and we continued on to the upside. Alrighty, take that trend line breakout. So now, for a weekly higher low, which was previously, I believe, at 80 cents, I moved it up to, or sorry, it wasn't 80 cents. I believe it was 69 cents, 70 cents. Now the new weekly higher low is at 83 cents. So as long as Jupiter stays above 83 cents, it's bullish. And I would expect a breakout of this range, a breakout of $1.32. Okay. Now, Jupiter, if it's following this, so from yellow line to yellow line, that's a 49-day cycle. If it does rally into December 2nd, maybe that's a short-term high that's put in for Jupe before some consolidation into possibly the end of December or January 20th. Or what could happen is Jupiter rallies into the end of November, maybe has some short-term downside into December 2nd, and rallies from December 2nd into December 26th, the apex of the 49-day cycle, and rallies into January 20th. Maybe some scenarios like that, but nonetheless, Jupiter has indeed broken out since October 14th, and now currently testing range highs. I do believe once $1.32 breaks, that the all-time highs at around $1.80s does eventually break, and upside targets are between $2.59 and $5.76. Okay. It's also a similar setup to what I've seen with really other altcoins, many other altcoins, and a ton of meme coins, honestly, especially like Solana ones. They're more prevalent on that, where there's a huge like first wave, a first rally, right? I've talked about this before. And then you have kind of a second wave where it's down and choppy, sideways for a while, and it gets people to sell, get out, say it's dead or whatever. Then there's a third wave where it pushes new highs and sentiment completely changes, obviously, right? That's how psychology in the markets works. Price is up, then people want to fucking buy it and talk about it, not when the price is down, though. So, you know, like a first wave, second wave to consolidate, and a third wave to get that big old push. Um, yeah, that is Jupiter. Looking bullish. We can go over another Sol Beta play here. I've talked about this before. I don't know if I've talked about it in my previous videos though, but I have definitely talked about it on my X account. And I was talking about Camino down in what 7, 8, 5 cents. And today we hit a high of 19, almost, yeah, 19 and a half cents, just about. Um, there's not really much to chart here because there's just really not much to chart here. I just have upside targets of 22 to 55 cents, just about. The main thing with Camino is that it's one of the best DeFi platforms in Solana. And if you were here in the previous cycles, you've seen what DeFi can do, like the DeFi coins, right? And how the crazy gains that they can put in. So I'm taking that case and applying it to Camino, which is one of the best dexes on Sol, which is also a high cap crypto that's likely going to continue doing extremely well this cycle. Pair two and two together, you got a good setup there, right? So I do think Camino, by the time frame of March of next year, Q1 of next year, Camino is going to be much higher than 16 cents where it's at currently. Okay, it's something to look into if you haven't positioned yourself well yet, I guess. Now, last but not least, not dog, Doge, wrong chart. Here we go. And it's not going to be the last one. But Dogecoin, daily time frame, very short term here. Or zoomed in. We're finding resistance at the March highs at 22,850. We did get a daily close above this white line here, which is this cycle's 0.236 level at around 21,178 cents for Doge, which I do believe to be very crucial. And I will get into just that. Going into weekly time frame, you also have just a huge fucking engulfing candle on the weekly for Doge currently. Again, it's hard to be bearish. Okay, I'm going to go to the monthly time frame, put on log scale, and I'm going to talk about the fib levels, specifically the 236. So as we see here in the first cycle, from cycle high to the low, the 236 level didn't get tested, okay, before price actually broke through it. Didn't really get tested at all. Came close, but not to the T, right? Um, but once you did get a monthly candle close above the 236 level, that's typically when the rally to an all-time high starts for Doge. Okay, that's what happened here in the first cycle. And as we can see here, in the second cycle, which was last, in the 2020 cycle. We did test the 236 level early on, and even a second time, getting towards the end of you know, the end of the accumulation period, quote unquote, for Doge. But that third time where it got hit on the monthly, there, as we see here in December of 2020, um, you had to break out the next month that got a monthly candle close above all-time highs. Uh, but what I'm trying to get out here is if you're seeing what I'm pointing out, if I go to the current cycle, we tested the 236 level back in March, and now we're testing it for a second time here in November. And if we do get a monthly candle close above the 236 at 21,192, I do believe that a new all-time high for Doge is highly likely in the coming months. Okay, definitely by March is what I'm thinking for that bullish case. Okay, there's also the case where it doesn't make a new high by March. That's also a scenario. I don't think it's likely though if it's following history. Okay, and you can see here the previous two cycles, Doge reached a 4.236 level to a minimum. That comes in around $2.97 for Dogecoin. Okay. Now going back to the daily time frame, some short-term Fibonacci levels. If we do get acceptance over 22,850, which was the March high, some upside targets take us at 31 cents, just about 32 cents, then 46 cents, and 61 and 70 cents are some upside targets. You also have an upside target of the size of this range. Sorry, I have to fix that. There we go. Don't know why it's so small. All the way up to 42 cents. Okay, that also comes in around the 50% level of this current cycle. Okay, so that's higher time frame targets, these cycle targets for Doge on the monthly basis, and also short term here on the daily. Now I want to get to the 2-week and talk about money flow really quick, because that's what these green lines are. The green vertical lines are when money flow went positive on the 2-week time frame. Okay, and as you see here, money flow went positive October 7th, 2024. So about a month ago. And the blue vertical line is the election date. And usually these come in together uh, within a couple month frame. This time around it was, in a couple week frame. So we have some very interesting setups here for Dogecoin, historically speaking, right? Where you got money flow turning green, you got the November election coming in as well. People like to follow narratives. And you also have testing of the 236 level again this month. And potentially we can get a monthly closure above. Okay. 2-week chart, you also have stochastic curving up to the upside as well, and as well as momentum wave still. So momentum is definitely up on Dogecoin. It's been up around 100% in the past month, I believe. Now, I want to take a look at this RSI on the 2 week. So the previous cycles, Doge found the top and the levels between 86 and 99 for the RSI. Okay, Dogecoin has not reached those levels yet. And if it does find the top, I do believe it's going to be in between those two levels of 86.99 on the 2 week RSI. So we still have some time to go if that is the case. Okay, for Doge. Going over to Doge Bitcoin, it did indeed break out of the bull flag I had it in. I talked about this in my last video and also on X. We hit the first measure move. Now we're looking for the second. It's not too far away. Okay, and as long as Dogecoin holds above this higher low at 210, however the hell you say that number, it's bullish. It's forming an uptrend with higher lows and higher highs. Okay, and the monthly green dot probability is still in play of having a 420% gain in 44 days. Okay, so by mid this month of November, so maybe around November 20th, November 14th, I believe was the exact date. Now, we'll have to see if it's upon closure for the green dot, because if it is, then it takes us into the end of November, then mid-November. I guess you could just say that in November, Doge versus BTC could be at this number here, 874, which from the previous price of the green dot when I took it is a 420% gain on the average. Okay, so Dogecoin is still following the crypto cycle to AT. And now I'm going to go over Ethereum. This is just a daily time frame. We got over a crucial level at 2800 and seeing some phenomenal upside. Currently, I do believe the level that's a magnet is around 3850. Okay, and if I go to a monthly time frame on ETH, again, I don't know how anybody could really be bearish unless we find a monthly lower high under 3700, but I doubt that's what's going to happen for Ethereum. I do believe we're going to go up to 3850 on this rally here and potentially break out of that. Okay, and if we do get a breakout from this pennant, this monthly pennant, a very high time frame pennant on the upside target is just about 7,800 on Ethereum. So a bigger look on ETH, and ETH has been getting a lot of shit for a while now because it hasn't been performing too well for it being the second biggest crypto, right? Hey, everybody should want ETH to do extremely well, because if ETH's doing extremely well, most other altcoins are going to do phenomenal. Okay, so that's ETH on the monthly look. It's hard to be bearish. It's not even forming a green dot yet. I do suspect the green dot will pop up this month and likely confirm this month if ETH does indeed continue to rally. So that would be great if ETH can get a green dot confirmation this month. Stochastics start to curve up. VWAP is currently curving up and almost positive, and money flow is starting to point back up well as well in the monthly, and it's at 32, almost 33%. RSI is also holding about 50. Again, Just all points to ETH going much higher in price in the coming weeks to months. Okay, it's not going to be a straight moonshot up. Now, a small cap coin that's on Ethereum I want to talk about is Moon Tropica. And this is a weekly time frame. It's a small cap gaming coin. I believe it's around 30 million market cap. But this is getting tight within a range between 1479 and 679. It's also independent that's been forming higher lows with lower highs currently. So it just means it's getting pretty tight. And if it does have a breakout to the upside, it can be a pretty good breakout, very pretty good sized one with major gains potentially, right? So if Moon Tropica gets above 1479, the next level to look for would be 3170. Break above 3170. I do believe the next level of interest is just going to be that all-time high at $57. And these are Fibonacci targets to the upside if it does break into new highs. 89 all the way up to 224 bucks. Now, these rectangles here that I have, or squares, the colored ones, is just, a bit of a time period, to look at, because if we're looking back to beginning of November of last year, it also had a green weekly candle, right? So potentially after this week, we could have a red or two red weekly candles before the major upside does really start to kick in towards the end of November and December, some consolidation, and January is this the move to the upside. It really started back in November and December though, so maybe some more time to accumulate some Moon Tropico here between now and December 2nd, and after December 2nd we could see a push out of this range potentially, and then the time frame up until March. Okay, just like how it topped out in March here. Okay, let's move Tropico. Just put it on people's radar. Small cap gaming, high risk, high reward. I currently don't own any. I am looking to buy some here very soon though. Alrighty. Now I want to get into Dog. Probably is the last crypto I'm going to talk about. It's the highest market cap rune. Okay, and if you don't know what runes are, they're just meme coins on Bitcoin. You should probably look into having a little sun in your portfolio because meme coins on Bitcoin are probably going to go fucking crazy again. Alrighty. Um, but Dog being the biggest market cap one, I think is important to look at as far as how runes are doing, right? And currently, Dog is finding support in Fibonacci zone between 004 and 003. Dog really needs to stay above the daily low of November 3rd at 03, almost the bottom of this Fibonacci support area. And currently it does look like it's trying to form a daily higher low and break out of this yellow trend line here. So if we can continue to have higher lows above 30,0036 on Dog and break highs of 0045 and make a higher high, I believe that will be a new trend, right? Because short term here, since October 17th, or short term, midterm, whatever you want to say, it was a downtrend, and possibly the low was put in November 3rd. And now the bigger uptrend can continue to where I do believe new highs will come for dog. Okay, that comes in at a penny and a half as the first target. Alrighty, but nonetheless, it does look very good. I'm going to go on a weekly time frame here as well. Yeah, it's definitely got to hold above 003. That was a weekly, pretty much a weekly double bottom, right? It's got to hold above there. If not, I think it's got to be cut. It wouldn't look too good. But these vertical lines here as well, I'll talk about that. Those are run like between 19, 22-day cycles, okay, for dog. So if we do indeed get a breakout, it's probably going to happen around November 12th. So in a couple days here, and break out to the upside, right? Continue this short-term trend right now that's forming higher lows and make higher highs. Around November 12th, we could start to see those highs get put in and really get us going here on dog. Okay. Now, I want to talk about others dominance. So this is a monthly time frame on others. I'll go full screen. This is very important. If you made it this far in the video, thank you for listening in. Yeah, thank you for sharing your time. So others is the total market cap excluding the top 10. So it really gets a good look at what the mid cap and small cap altcoins are doing, right? And as we can see here, we got a wick under this major support line that's been a support since 2015, right? So if we get a green monthly close here on others, that would be a bearish fake out, right? And that goes in hand with the time period we're in, right? Between April and December. Because white line to white line is 609 days, and each of these cycles, repeat, April to December from 2014 to 2015, April to December, this was 2019 to 2020, and now we're currently in April to December, 2024 to 2025. And in the first cycle here, we had a rally before, a rally getting into the apex of the 609-day cycle. Then we just consolidated through the apex and even after, and had downside into the end of the 609-day cycle into December. And in the second cycle, we had a rally up into the apex and through it as well. But then getting towards the end of this 609-day cycle, we had downside into December again. Now, currently, we're getting a monthly candle with which looks to be a bearish fake out, right? And we could likely be starting to rally into the apex of the 609-day cycle, which comes in between December 2024 and April 2025. Okay, so that's why it's quite interesting with how everything is lining up together. Bitcoin dominance, Bitcoin with the 105-day cycles, and just the setups like ETH on the monthly, Solana, Dogecoin, everything's starting to kind of break out and line up together. It's quite interesting. And there's people out there that say TA doesn't work. They don't believe in it for whatever reason. Or some people don't even believe in cycles or looking at history when it comes to TA, which I think is I'll be nice. I just don't agree. Okay. So there's that. Okay. So the next 5 months are really looking to be quite exciting to me, to be honest. Now, the interesting too with this chart is that if we do follow it, we could we could rally into to mid to end of 2026 for altcoins, which would be fucking insane to think about. But we'll see. We'll see what happens in March and what things look like. So far, I'm going to stick to my topping period of Q1 2025, March, and stick with that. Okay, that is my bias. And if it's going to change, well, we'll just have to see what the charts look like at that time period. Okay, now I'm going to get into equities. It's not really a lot to go over. Um, this is S&P. We found the daily higher low, and we hit new all-time highs. I mean, there's nothing too bearish about hitting new all-time highs at the point that we're at, right? For fucking everything, really. Crypto and equities. Okay, that was also a weekly higher low formed for S&P 500. So I'm going to take that support off and put a new support down. A weekly higher low at 567.89. S&P needs to hold above that now. If not, things could look a little shaky. Okay, so I'm going to take these previous levels off now. That's the one to watch. So we hit a first Fibonacci target ahead here at 599.04. I believe we went above it by like 80 cents. But if we do get above 599, I do think the next level to look for is 632 and 653 on the S&P 500. Going on to a weekly time frame for market cipher B and RSI. Let me take these little trend lines off. Yeah. Delete, delete, delete. I'm going to take this off too. Alrighty. So we see that money flow is still at a relatively great level. It's at 32. It's also getting a green dot on the weekly time frame. RSI is about to approach overbought quote unquote region. I mean, to me, that really just means momentum is really strong to the upside. I mean, as you can see on price action. So when RSI does get above 70, it could push price higher most likely, especially with this green dot that's confirmed as well. It's going to confirm when market opens next week on Monday. So yeah, pretty good look on the S&P 500. We still got some time to go. That also goes in hand with the IWM, and why I said we still have time to go, because if the IWM here breaks a new all-time high, um, you know, that's a healthy bull market. Okay, you got all three indices participating: S&P, QQQ, and IWM. Alrighty. And if IWM does break a new high, that's also extremely well for crypto, because IWM is basically the small cap ETF, but essentially is like the altcoins of the stock market, right? So everything is correlated, all right, in a sense. Now I had here IWM in a weekly ascending triangle, and we broke straight fucking through a tilde to the upside. Measure move target comes in at 260, which is obviously a new all-time high. And if we do break the all-time highs, 260 being the first target, but 295 could be, the bigger move in time, obviously, not right away. But that's the 1.618 Fibonacci level. Um, yeah, it's again hard to be bearish on IWM. It's only 2% away, just about, from all-time highs and breaking out from a bullish setup. The main takeaway is that, as I said, if IWM is going to be participating and breaking new highs, just like UQQ and S&P, that's a that's a good market. All right, there's nothing bad about that, and that just shows that there's still some time to go in this bull cycle that the markets are in. Okay, now I'm going to look at NVDA. It's going to be pretty quick and easy. Here, I'm going to move these Fibonacci's to the side. And I'm just going to take it off, to be honest with you. So it formed a weekly higher low. It's got to stay above 132. I believe in a video I made a couple weeks back, I was talking about this level here, this purple box between 130 and 128. I said that would be an area of support, major support, and it looks like it got front ran. So yeah, pretty bullish. You know, sometimes in markets, when supports get front ran in an uptrend, that's usually a sign of, you know, a strong trend is either forming or is already formed, and that's just a sign that that's how strong the fucking market is, right? So, you know, the target I'm looking for on NVDA is 170, 170. Okay, that's my first target I'm looking at. After that, it's 221, but 170 comes first, right? And 170 comes as long as 132 is holding as support. Okay, that was a weekly higher low. If that doesn't hold, the support at 128 could maybe break, uh, and we would just have to look for lower, talking around 110s again. So, but it's not breaking that. All right, so the bullish scenario is more likely, and say hello to 171 on VDA, probably sometime this Q4. Okay, if not early 2025. Going to pull up Tesla. And as we have here, Tesla had a weekly back test of this overall pennant it's been in for 3 years. Okay. And we had bullish follow through on that. And I pulled up a range target from the range between 271 and 182. And we're hitting the one. I mean, we got past it a bit, but we've hit the 50% target of the range, which came in at 315, around 316. And the final target in this range is 361. So I do believe Tesla is on its way to around 360, and we'll see what it does there. I do think it could chop around after hitting 360, and it could chop between 360 and 271 for a little bit. And that would probably be a nice time to reaccumulate some Tesla shares and before taking it higher, because the bigger measure move breakout is 569, right, from this pennant. That's the measured move. Actually, I gotta move it up a bit because the breakout happened here. So, okay, yeah, it comes into the T of the 1618 level I have, which is 606, and more upside targets are just between $900 and $1,400 for Tesla. If that happens, that's going to be coming probably some years down the line. Um, I don't think 2025 that's happening at all. I do think $600 is happening in 2025 though for Tesla, which is pretty awesome gains in the equity market, right? Uh, And also, just fundamentally speaking, Tesla is likely going to be the biggest company in the world one day with everything that they're working on. They're not just a car company, they're doing so much more. I'm not going to dig into all that. Plus, I suck at explaining things. So you can just research that stuff yourself. But Tesla is not just a car company. People need to understand that. If they don't, well, they're probably going to miss out on one of the best companies of our lifetimes, to be honest with you. So that's Tesla. And I'm going to end the video there, guys. Right? So pretty lengthy one, an hour long. And currently we're just about another all-time high on Bitcoin. That's awesome. And Dogecoin is holding up pretty well. So yeah, guys, thank you for watching. If you made it all the way through, thank you very much. I appreciate you. And I will see you in the next one. Looking forward to the coming months. Peace.